I used to have this belief that human beings had a physical, value statement, that some people were inherently just more valuable from one person to the next, and that certain behaviors actually made you as a person more valuable. And when I failed to match those beliefs of what I felt was high value, that was when my self-esteem fucking crumbled, because these expectations I had in my head of what makes up high value and what I learned was high value wasn't me. And I just made myself almost like a subservient little boy, where I'd always make myself small, and my body language was so tiny, and I'd inhibit what I really wanted to say because I was just afraid. And I never felt worthy that I could actually express myself, or that other people would take what I say seriously, because fundamentally I'm just lower value than most people. So what do I have to say? It's fucking, why should they listen to me, bro? I'm just me, and I don't like me. That's fundamentally how I used to exist. And it's if I had deemed other people to be higher value than me, which I deemed basically everyone higher value than me, I would act subservient and just so small. I just couldn't do anything, bro. And this was I'd say half of what kept my social anxiety alive for so long, because I saw, well, not really saw, I didn't see it yet. I treated people as if this rule was a absolute truth, that there is inherent value to someone, and that value made up by is, what do you think I'm gonna say? What do you think makes someone valuable? In today's society, what do you think makes someone valuable? Getting tons of girls, get sex. Well, maybe financial success. Maybe having an awesome 10 out of 10 physique with abs. Lots of muscle. Maybe if you have those traits, you're going to be higher value. You, who you are. Yes, you are now higher value because of these behaviors, because of these traits that you think you have. Now, before I come back to this, I'm going to explain a little loop and a paradigm shift that most people live by. And I hope you see how warped and how fucked the first paradigm is. This is the value that some people have inherent value, and that behaviors dictate your value. So I really want you to pay attention and understand, does this sound like you? So do you have a need to be perceived as valued, or a strong identity tied to being valued? If you have that, so that's before the social situation. What comes next is the social situation itself. And then next is you're in the social situation and you subconsciously are looking for evidence that you're valued. And then your whole perception is being changed and warped by that belief. Mixed signals now become terrifying. Your performance tanks. You become anxious. Your performance literally gets worse because you're constantly now self-monitoring. You now interpret events afterwards. You interpret experiences as whether, was I high value there? Did that behavior make me seem a certain way? And then as a result of that, you will conclude whether or not I was high value or I was low value. Most of the time, because we have a negative bias, we will conclude that we are low value. Now, I'm going to share with you how I have learned to be in the world, and a different paradigm that you can completely radically shift to. It's your whole life you've had a pair of glasses on. They were red glasses, and you see red. Your reality manifests that fucking red. Now I'm telling you to change those glasses and put on some nice green glasses. Green glasses, they make you feel nice. Green is better than red. It's clearly subjective. Anyway, to the actual paradigm. So underneath me, I have a value, a belief that I'm intrinsically valued as I am now. And no matter what happens, no matter what other people say, no matter how other people act, my value is intrinsic and it cannot be shifted, it cannot be changed by other people's thoughts. Before every social situation, my value is intrinsic and it cannot be touched by other people. Then, go into a social situation. But now, we don't have the self-monitoring. I don't need to subconsciously search for proof. There's no need to prove anything now. Genuinely. I'm not acting like I don't need to prove anything. I genuinely don't need to prove anything. So many people act like they have nothing to prove when deep down they are trying to prove something. Fundamentally, they have an identity or a value that they're trying to cling on to. But fundamentally, my nervous system acts differently. My lens, my glasses are different. Now, as a result of not needing to prove anything, what happens in social situations? They flow easily. I'm present. I literally perform better. Now what happens? Oh, I get evidence that socializing is easy. It's fun. I'm free to be myself. If I'm myself, I now get experiences and evidence that I'm safe to be myself. I can say a stupid joke and I don't get my head chopped off. That's how our nervous system reacts. When we're low value, if we say something that makes us low value, cringe or weird or judged, what happens? We experience that as a sort of threat. But when you live like me, you can experience the no threat because there is no threat. Because fundamentally you're okay. And then you get evidence that, hold on, that just happened. That actually just happened, hell yeah. I'm okay regardless. And then you believe that more because you just had that experience. You believe it more. It becomes stronger. The next time you get into a social situation, your mind is subconsciously like, hold on, was the last time I fluke? Am I still okay? It needs more evidence to believe that it's true. And then, what happens then? You get more proof that it's okay. You perform better again. And then have this happen a bunch of times and socializing becomes easy and effortless. Like instead of, this is a good one I got. Instead of a social situation being a test for your value or your identity, or normally you feel a subtle threat, that's what social anxiety is. It's detecting socializing as a threat. A threat to what? It's obviously not your physical body. Why does it feel so strong? Why is the anxiety and the fear so strong? It's a threat to your identity, who you think you are. There's a part of you that is protecting and trying to be seen as high value. And the part of you that wants to be high value needs to be high value, and it's protecting that. It wants that. It needs that. And fundamentally, using those red glasses to view life is a losing strategy. Now, that might all sound good and like, wow, if I could fucking view life through the fact that I'm okay regardless of what happens, that would be... Now, I want you to question value in its entirety. What is value? What actually is it? Where did it come from? Where did you start forming these beliefs that value is an inherent property of reality, of people? Don't just look at me. It's actually maybe pause and think about it. Where did you first learn that that's a thing? There is a property of human beings, and that is value. Now, ask, is it objectively true? Can you look at someone and determine that person objectively is higher valued than that person? At the core of them, not their behaviours, not one behaviour, who they are as a person. Can you find value? Not a thought, not a belief, not a story, but actually find value. In the same way, water bottle, here, gravity happens every time. That is objective, that is true. Can you find value? No. Value exists entirely in your mind. Okay, now next question. What determines what is valued? That's a good question. What is valued? Again, it's what I was saying earlier. It's determined by the society and the culture that you grow up in. It's not absolute. We've grown up in a society where money and success, that is highly valued. Imagine if we were to grow up in a society where, I'll go back a little bit, grades in school is valued. If you have higher grades, you are seen as smarter than other people, and that's right, incentivized. Good grades is incentivized. Society has incentivized us to search for better grades and more money. It's the society we live in. Notice the constructed nature of that. That is not absolute truth. It may feel real. I just want you to take the mental swap that instead of it being 100% true, it's is it really 100% true in every situation? I want you to shift the belief strength from 100% even just to 99%. Just allow a little room of doubt. And then you can watch other videos, do other practices, then it can lower more. But if you fundamentally hold the belief that it is innumerable, it is true, it is 100%, there is nothing that you can say or do that will change it. If that happens, then unfortunately, you're literally unhelpable. And you're not going to fix this problem because your mind's just too closed off. But what I was saying earlier was, imagine growing up in a society where peace of mind, meditation, consciousness, those are the highest values that the culture has incentivized. If you're, it's a weird picture, but if you meditate a lot and have if you have great mental health, you are seen as more valuable. You are liked more by people. Your status relatively is higher. Again, that's still constructed, but imagine how different life would be if that were what society puts up on a pedestal. But again, notice how completely arbitrary, relative, and how it isn't grounded in anything actually true. Okay, this has been a lot. I get that. And now I want you to understand, I know it's a lot. Okay, one more thing. We're going to understand how to actually do this and the practical steps of fixing this. Let's start off with rooting out what you specifically, your subconscious has stored as the definition of value. I want you to write down value is, and then allow your subconscious to just take the wheel. What behaviors is considered valuable? What is considered low value? And then once you get your answer to that, you want to question it. Value is amount of women I sleep with. Well, is that true? Is that a fundamental feature of myself that just gets higher and higher? When I sleep with more girls, question it. Even if you don't want to question it, you may feel good when you sleep with more girls because your ego gets stroked. But you're fundamentally acting from a paradigm that keeps you in lack. You're never enough as you are. If you want to be and exist enough, go through those situations, nothing to prove. You can't be attached to being seen as higher value. You have to drop the entire concept. Then there's a video on shadow work. I'm gonna make a longer video on shadow work because I'm gonna go with 70-80% of it. And even if you root out the term value, your subconscious is still going to act on prior rules because at some point in your life you have learned that social situations are not safe. And until you root out the parts of yourself that you don't like, you're afraid of being seen as certain ways, you're just never going to be free. You're never going to be rid of that social anxiety 100%. Getting rid of this value statement and shifting your glasses from red to green will help immensely, yes, but you still have to do shadow work. I'm going to make a video on that, and if by then I've made it, I will link it in the description. If not, subscribe and it shall comment it down and I will get to work on it. But you need to work on the repressed parts of yourself that you don't like. If there are I can fucking guarantee there are parts of yourself that you are not liking, you're insecure about. You need to heal your insecurities and your traumas. Once you do that, remove the value statements as a lens, see through it. Ooh. Then life starts to get easier. Then socializing becomes easy and effortless. So, yeah, that is the video. I appreciate you watching. I understand it's a bit much and it's hard to be open-minded about this type of stuff. I know it's hard to shift your lens completely, but it's amazing to be able to live with that other pair of glasses on. And truly, I want this for you. So, appreciate you watching. Hope you do like and sub. Helps me out a lot. And yeah, take care. Bye-bye.